how does a person get more clarity? And that's a really broad question. I know I could be more specific, but I can narrow down as you answer. Yeah, because it's a two-part. So that's the first part. How does a person get more clarity?
Well, let's get more specific because
okay, well,
how is this helping you?
Okay, more specific for me, I'm in the process of developing a process so that when people come to me or when I create a coaching package and clarity is the first session for them to go through, I want to make sure I have a step-by-step, a process to help them get more clear and get more clarity on who they are, what they want, where they want to be, where they want to go. Because the other parts already got figured out. The confidence, the competence, the commitment, I got great systems for that. The clarity part, I do have something for it, but I want it to be so on point. And I'm like, who else can I talk to but Evan that can really flesh this out for me? So I've got my thing already. But like, you know what? I've got to talk to Evan. He can polish it up. He can make it. He can give more clarity to it.
So, I think with that, why I asked you for more context was it really depends on what they want clarity on. Mm-hmm. So if you're just looking for a generic, one size fits all, it's going to be helpful for everybody, going through who I how gives you a lot of clarity.
Okay.
And then you can apply that to whatever situation. But what are they struggling with? Like, where do they need more clarity? Like, the context becomes important to help you solve the next question. If somebody's like, I need clarity over my social media strategy,
right?
Yeah, you can go through who I how, but that's always going to be helpful. It just may not be as tactical to what they actually need.
Okay, so I should say it this way then. Because I know at the end of the day, it's going to come back down to the individual. Because a lot of times I can see myself coaching people in the area of clarity when it comes to themselves. So I know the underlying of all this is going to be questions. You've got to ask a series of questions. And I've already got that laid out. Because you said something to me, I don't know if you remember or not, but you said, you was asking me the other day, what's before clarity is there? I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that. What's before clarity? I said, okay, I really don't have time to really think about this, but I got to think fast. What would be before? And then, okay, we said desire. Well, that's what I came up with, desire. And I said, you know what? Because desire is the starting point of all achievement. It's the starting point of everything. Without desire, there's nothing. So then I said, okay, because I like to make frameworks. So I created an entire framework. Actually, I created the framework today on desire.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to get it printed out today too. But I created a framework on desire and I laid it all out. I said, okay, this is really good, Sam. But can you make this better? I said, okay, this will become better with time. But I said, right now, let me ask Evan, the only person I can think of that probably can expound on this. So let me ask them during the stream about, clarity.
Yeah, so that's what immediately comes to mind is like
that's what this came to my mind also, the book, the blueprint. I said, well, still, that's what I was thinking also, because a lot of times people don't really know what they want, and that's because they're not clear on who they are.
I was we moved our podcast, me and Mark, to Clubhouse and turned it into a call-in show. So we ended up talking about coaching for a good chunk of it. Because one of my first coaches surprised me and joined me on the call. So her name was Janie, and she was one of the first people who helped me on my YouTube channel to coach me to not be such a robot. It was like, problem, answer, go, next. And she's all about vulnerability and authenticity and storytelling and all the stuff that I've gotten great at. Wearing your skin is a good, not her idea, but she kind of opened the door to help me discover that piece in myself. So she joined the the clubhouse today, and she asked the first question, or one of the first questions, which was, how do I create a schedule for myself?
Mm. Mm.
And
I wish she came on the stream. I have something for her.
well, I told her, part of she's very loose and free spirited, and not structured and not organized. And I said, honestly, you can have a schedule for the days when you don't feel super inspired that you fall back on, but your best bet is not to be overly rigid, because you're going to suffocate in an overly rigid environment. You're just judging yourself for not having a schedule because you think that's the right thing to do. But your best bet is to actually just sit there every morning and do your energy work and all the stuff that she does, and just figure out like what comes to mind in your meditation. The thing that comes to mind of what you should do today is what you should do today. And she's like, you know what? I did that this morning. That brought me here to this clubhouse with you. I'm like, exactly. And that's not advice that again, that I would follow. I love my schedule. Yeah, but it's like the best thing for her. And it was funny to do the psych eval on her, basically, because she helped me so much in figuring out how to even do it. So that's the clarity that she needed in that session. That's the clarity. People come asking a question. That's your job to figure out what the real question is, and then coach them to get the result.
I'm going back to clarity. I gotta make sure I can. I think it's going to come with time, though. The more I help people get clearer, the more I will refine my method. But I think I got a good one, though. Because what you were saying earlier, I think when it's not personal, it's just more strategy and what to do and what not to do. But a lot of people, I think a lot of people are not clear personally. When you get that figured out, I think the rest of the stuff is the tactics. It's not that hard to figure out because somebody else already did it before.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's your entire job as a coach, is to help people get clear on where they want to go, on what the problem is in front of them, and then what the path is to actually build a better future.
Yeah.
Whether you're coaching, life coaching, chef coaching, engineering coaching, anything.
And I think it's continuous too, because there's even people who once they achieve a certain, thing or have a certain identity, sometimes like with the pandemic, you got to make a transition. So now you need more clarity. Even once you, like say if you was in the NFL or an athlete for so many years, and now your career is over, you got to make a transition. You need more clarity, or you might want to go to another level. The clarity thing is always gonna pop up from time to time. And if you don't get that figured out, then you end up lost or wasting a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I think you'll have moments in your life where you've got absolute clarity and focus, and you know what you need to do next, and then you need to go and attack it and do it. Otherwise, you're wasting huge opportunity cost. But you'll have a lot of other moments when you don't have clarity and you're trying to figure stuff out and you're making a transition, and then it's okay to explore and taste and try and not be as productive all the time or have to worry about that.
And this is just my assumption. I could be totally off. So I'm just shooting in the dark here. But it feels like you take two people who are just just high achievers, well accomplished, and super successful in what they did. And for example, here's the two people I'm thinking of immediately right now is Joe Polish. And so now he said, let me take a sabbatical and take some time off so I can get more clarity about my life and where I want to go and what I want to do. And then, he's still an inspiration, but it's kind of unfortunate how it ended up for him. Tony Hsieh from Zappos. Mm-hmm. And based on some of his close friends, they say, he made all this money, did all these great things, but, whether it was drugs or whatever it might have been, but he got lost. So he lost his clarity, lost his identity, and that took him down a different path, and, things didn't work out, So I'm thinking, man, clarity is power. And again, I think I think the greatest clarity is, going back to your who.